Hello everyone. So today we are going to talk about the most important aspect of our life, which is self-awareness. And we are going to call it the art of self-awareness. So, most people go through life believing they know who they are. But do they actually know that? Think about it. How many times have you reached out of anger and regretted it later? How often do you push yourself into situations just to meet other people's expectations? How many dreams have you buried? Not because you couldn't achieve them, but because you believed you weren't good enough. This happens because we are living on autopilot. We think we know ourselves, but in reality, we are strangers to our own thoughts, emotions, and patterns. And that's why self awareness isn't just important, it's the foundation of living a conscious, fulfilled life. Self awareness is the ability to observe yourself, your thoughts, emotions, actions, patterns without judgments. It's like standing in front of a mirror, but instead of seeing your physical reflection, you see your inner world. For example, imagine you have a colleague who constantly irritates you. Without self awareness, you react, you argue, you gossip, you carry resentment. With self awareness, you pause and ask, why does this trigger me so much? Is this really about them or about something inside me? Often, we discover that what we react to in others is actually a reflection of something unhealed within us. This is why people with deep self awareness are calmer, more confident, and more fulfilled because they are not controlled by unconscious patterns. Here's the hard truth: most people don't know who they are. Why? Because from childhood, we are conditioned about not to cry, not to dream too big, be like your cousin, or get a stable job. So over time we stop asking what do I truly want and start living based on society's script. For example, take example of a client of mine. She was a high paid professional, admired by everyone, yet she would call me and tell me, I feel like I'm living someone else's life. She wasn't aware that her entire career choice came from wanting to please her father. Her deepest desire was to be a writer. She took her months to reconnect with her inner truth. Today, she is happy in her life. She is writing her own things. She is maintaining her own journal. She is doing things at her level. She is trying to build herself through social media and many more things. But now, most importantly, she is happy. She is self-aware. And without self-awareness, you will live by other people's definition of success rather than your definition of happiness. Most people believe self-awareness is about thinking more. It's not. It's about feeling more. Your emotions are your internal compass. They tell you where you are aligned and where you are not. Have you ever stayed in a job you hated, convincing yourself it's fine, I need the money? But every morning, your body felt heavy, your energy drained, and Sundays filled you with dread? That's the inner system screaming. You are out of alignment. Here's another story. So, once I coached a boy who always felt stuck. He wasn't feeling good at work, he wasn't thriving either, but he was okay in his life, but still feeling stuck. He explored his feelings and realized it was resentful because he had been ignoring his passion for photography for a very long time. When he started dedicating just an hour to do that, his overall happiness improved. Not because his job changed, but because he changed. Self-awareness is about fixing your life. It's about understanding your inner world so you can make conscious choices. Science says 95% of our thoughts and actions are driven by subconscious mind, and only 5% of what you do every day is a conscious choice. Think about that. If you don't become aware of your subconscious patterns, they will run your life on autopilot, right? So, here's an example. If you fear of speaking in meetings because as a child you were shamed for making mistakes, you sabotaged your relationships because somewhere deep inside you believe that you are not lovable, or you might avoid risk because your parents unknowingly taught you that failure is unacceptable. Until you become aware of these programs, they keep replaying. A real life case I would like to share with you, which includes a girl who was roughly 28-29 year old and she was a marketing executive. She struggled with imposter syndrome despite being constant praise from her boss. Digging deeper, we found that as a child, she had often been compared to her smarter sibling, that all won't keep, coming back and back and back, and it kept telling her that you're not enough. So once she became aware of this pattern, she kind of rewrote her inner narrative. Today, she leads her department with confidence. So, what we get to learn is that self awareness isn't about changing who you are, it's about understanding why you are the way you are and then choosing differently. Everything in life is energy, including your thoughts, emotions, actions. When you are unaware of yourself, your energies get scattered. You say yes when you actually meant no. You overthink every decision. You live seeking approval rather than authenticity. But when you become self aware, your energies align. For example, I once met an entrepreneur. I worked with them and spent time with him trying to know what his problems were and why he was not feeling the way he should. So, when we talked through and when we understood, so the law of attraction was working against him. He was himself fearing of all the failures, of losses, and public shaming, and many other things. So, when we worked on that, he finally was able to come out of it financially. Also, he grew in profit, and he was able to walk his life comfortably, which he was once struggling for. So, suddenly, opportunities, people, possibilities, everything flew into his life effortlessly. Not because something was changed in his life, but because he changed his life. He started living in harmony with himself. So, look at the most impactful leaders and creators in the world. What sets them apart isn't the intelligence or talent, it's self awareness. For example, Steve Jobs. He knew he wasn't just selling computers, he was selling a vision that connected technology with human creativity. Then, Oprah. She turned her childhood pain into her purpose by deeply understanding her own wounds and using them to inspire others. Then Elon Musk criticized, doubted, and mocked, yet he trusts his inner vision. So he fiercely builds the companies that other people can't even imagine. They succeeded because they knew who they were. The build of the life which they are living right now is completely different with what their reality was. So now most people spend their lives trying to find themselves. But you don't need to find yourself. You need to become aware of yourself. The art of self awareness is simple. Know what drives you, understand what triggers you, heal what limits you, and choose what truly aligns with your soul. Because when you know who you are, you stop living by default and start living by design. And that's when life stops being ordinary, it becomes extraordinary. And if you want me to help you in this journey, you can find the link to my website and to my Instagram page down in the description box. Thank you for watching. Heal in your life, grow in your life, and forever be happy. Thank you. Good day.